No. Well, I was thinking about this, and we've all sort of done things in the past that maybe went, oh my God, what the hell was I thinking doing that? And I think probably the most crazy, what the heck moment that I ever had was accidentally once using acetone instead of monomer on a full set. And it was, you'd think that I would have caught on like that, but I was new and a little naive, and just, that's about it, really. I learned quickly, though. She didn't come back either. I didn't get a very big tip. So that's me.
My very, very first customer was, I was doing fiberglass at the time, and she was wearing a black mohair cardigan. And of course, whilst doing one nail, one hand, she's got the other hand like that, or like that. So she's given me a handbag full, completely full of mohair. And of course, she didn't come back either. Her mistake, not mine. Not nice. Don't wear mohair jumpers when you do.
Unfortunately, it's not a perfect world, and I think we all have things that we've sort of taken as a learning curve, because you do it once and then you don't do it again. When NSI brought out a new product called Cleanse to clean all the nails off, and it was when all the monomers had that nice bluey tinge to it, and the Cleanse came out just pouring it away. Again, picking up that nice bead, but the beauty of it, pick the bead up, lovely. Moulded lovely on the nails, stretched through, fine. Until you come to file it, it comes off like rubber. So haven't clicked on yet, reapply, roll it off, reapply. Thinking, smells roughly the same, what's going on? So got a new product out at the cupboard this time, obviously realising that the bottles were next to each other, and I've just picked up the wrong bottle. So she did come back only because it took me another extra hour. That poor client was in there 2.5 hours, but I just said, oh well, it's one of those things, smile as you do as a nail tech, but we got round it, but never happens again. It's on different shelves, learning curve.
My story is, have any of you seen the legendary Young Nails poster with the black gel drizzled up the white free edge? The story behind that is I wasn't quite sure how that was created, and it's kind of like a freehand drizzle of the black gel. So I kind of thought about it and thought perhaps it was done by blowing the gel with a straw. However, when trying to do that on a client and she's wearing a white shirt, I blew the whole of the black gel all over a white shirt, and obviously she wasn't a happy chappy.
I've got, it's not so much a cock-up, more as a total disaster actually, just very quickly. When I had the salon many years ago, on a Saturday afternoon, we had a fire in the kitchen. A baked potato of one of the juniors had caught fire because it had been left in the oven for too long. Unfortunately, the kitchen was a long way away from the salon, and the door, the exit, was in the salon. So we had a fire right in the back. We called the fire engines. 2 fire engines came, so 8 firemen suddenly descended on this salon with their hoses, telling everybody they must evacuate immediately. And I had 3 clients sitting there, but I'm going out tonight. My nails need doing. So guess what? I stayed there doing their nails while the firemen put a fire out in the back, because their nails are more important than the fire.
That sounds about right.
That's a disaster. Is there anybody from the floor that wants to share any major cock-up with us before we go on to the next question?
Go on, you all must have something.
Okay. You're all so good, you never make mistakes.
Do you think we should go and learn from them then?
I think we should. we haven't been doing it long enough. Okay, the next question on my list is, should councils insist on a licence for each technician using an electric nail file in the salon? Okay, I'll just read that again. Should councils insist on a licence for each technician using an electric nail file in the salon? And I think I'll pass this one on to Claire.
Thanks, Mary. As far as councils are concerned, I personally think that every different council has different standards, really. However, in the beauty industry, I've only learnt today from Denise that actually Javier have designed a qualification for electric filing, which first and foremost is good. We need some sort of level of standard of electric filing. However, independent companies now in the past have just handed out electric files without any sort of regulation of training, which is bad, because anybody can make a mistake with any form of electrical appliance. However, in my opinion, trained in the right way, it can be used and regulated within the salon as a good salon instrument. But yeah, there's too many people out there, especially salon owners, that are not really following any sort of standard regulation from electric filing. Hence why so many companies now have got bad reputations for selling electric files. However, as a salon owner, I don't know how people would be able to exist in the salon environment without an electric file. But the question obviously, should there be some sort of regulation of standard? And yes, I certainly think there should.
Yeah, I agree. There's so many people and there's so many places you can buy electric files from now. And I think people don't realise actually how dangerous they are. And I know there is just as much danger with a hand file. You can cause just as much damage with a hand file, which is why every type of technique that you use needs training and good education. But I agree that it should be regulated, and there should be criteria for each of those courses.
Hi. I think, I think to the points that have just been raised, I think are very valid. I think we're all on the same page in the sense that an electric file is a tool that's used by a lot of professionals in a lot of different circumstances. Habia and part of even the people up here have been part of trying to define and set good guidelines for usage for electric files, and so that's out there. The only, I think the real question is, should councils insist on a license for each technician for anything? I think that's great utopic vision, but the reality of the situation is, who is it that's going to be policing this? And why are we just going to turn around and say, we should have a license for this and this and this? The question is, where does the funding for it come from? Where does the policing action come from? Or are we just going to create laws and legislation and bureaucracy for the sake of doing it? And also in that same exact vein, just because somebody has a license for using an electric file, sure as hell doesn't mean they're going to be using it safely. You can cause just as much damage with an abrasive. We all agree you can cause as much damage with an abrasive as you can with an electric file. But it's all about speed. It's all about, putting it in the right context. Most people don't file at 15,000 RPMs. So there is a time and a place for electric files to be safely used. Habia has provided, I think, superb guidelines for that as a unit itself. But as far as trying to make it some sort of a mandatory law that's going to be policed or whatever, I just don't see it happening. I don't see the benefit to it either. So there.
Thank you. No, I think this really is a question that should go out to the floor, because this is a subject that keeps coming up in debates, in magazines, in questions, and nobody really quite gets to grips with, should it or shouldn't it be licensed? Should or shouldn't we have qualifications for it? So can I ask, of all the people that are sitting here, how many of you use an e-file? Not many. How many of you are aware that there is an MVQ unit that qualifies you to use an e-file? Not many. So there's one or two more than those using an e-file actually aware there is an MVQ unit. Well, I think it's really, really important that, with a debate like this are the sort of facts that I think we should make sure get out as facts and not fiction in the industry. So I don't think the industry as a whole dislikes e-files, I'm guessing, but I'm just saying that as an opinion that I've seen that's been given in so many places. But I think it's really important that the industry understands that there is a qualification out there, and that qualification really should be taken. As to licensing, well, that's actually, I believe, a slightly different question. But would somebody like to give their opinion on the use or not the use of e-files?